Language learning is one of my favorite pastimes. I haven't spoken much about this on the channel, but I am a big language nerd and just about any justification will do for me to learn a new language. Recently, I moved to Prishtina, and so of course I wanted to start learning Albanian, which has been challenging to say the least, but I'm really starting to like the language, except for its grammar, maybe. So I was really happy when Rosica from the Midnight Reader tagged me for the language learning book tag from Jay at Quarter Life Crisis, because it gives me the opportunity to share with you a little bit about my Albanian language learning journey while still talking to you about books. So without further ado, let's get into the questions of the tag. So the questions are common beginner language learning phrases or questions, which then have a little book prompt connected to it. Numer 1. Një libër në Shqip. The first prompt is a book translated from the language you're learning. So of course for this I had to pick a book written by Ismail Kadare, probably the most famous Albanian writer. I only have one of his books so far, which is Elegies for Kosovo, which is translated from Albanian by Peter Constantine. This is a very short book, and I would really recommend it if you are interested in the history of this region of the world and want it combined with Kadare's beautiful prose. Nummer 2. Si quhesh ti? What is your name? For this, we pick a book with a name in the title. I immediately thought of Kim Ji-young, born 1982, by Cho Nam-ju, translated from Korean by Jamie Chang. It's been a couple of years since I read this book by now, but I really liked how the author combined fact and fiction through telling the story of Kim Ji-young. The book explores topics of gender equality, misogyny, and sexism mainly. Nummer 3. Fal, nuk kuptoj. I'm sorry, I don't understand, for which the prompt asks to pick a book with a miscommunication. Really spoiled for choice for this one, but I think one of the most memorable books with miscommunication trope for me was Conversations with Friends, or any other Sally Rooney book. I feel like she really masters this trope. It's not like in most romances where you know things will work out anyways, but with Sally Rooney's books you get this very uncomfortable pit in your stomach reading the characters fall into the traps of miscommunication, and it feels so real and irrevocable. Nummer 4. Sa kushton? Meaning how much does it cost? And for this prompt we are to pick a book about money, so I chose The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. While the series as a whole didn't really live up to my expectations, I did really enjoy book 1. So the story follows Avery, who one day finds out that a very wealthy man called Tobias Hawthorne has left his entire fortune. She has no idea who this man is, much less why he has left her his entire inheritance. Of course, there's a catch. She has to live in the Hawthorne mansion for a year, together with the rest of the family, aka the people who thought would be receiving this very large sum of money. I liked the first book. There's a lot of mysteries and puzzles. Book 2 and 3 were a little disappointing to me, but still a fun series to read. Nummer 5. Ku është? Or Where Is? Picking a book about a place. I thought of Persepolis by Marjanis Atrapi. This is a coming-of-age memoir written as a graphic novel, which I really enjoyed. It follows the author through her youth and new adult life, while also taking us through some key moments in the history of Iran. So I would highly recommend this one. Nummer 6. Si jeni? How are you? Pick a book about emotions or a book that made you feel emotions. So I picked A Man Called Uwe by Fredrik Backman, translated from Swedish by Henning Koch, because it's the most recent time I have ugly cried over a book. Uwe is a grumpy old man who likes his routines, knows that things can be done right only if they are done by him, and he won't hear it any other way. Despite all this, I promise you will become extremely attached not just to Uva, but all the characters in this book. It is so heartwarming and heartbreaking, the best kind of emotional book, in my opinion. Nummer 4. Fjall rastishisme. Pick a random word in the language you're learning and then pick a book with that word in the title. So for me, the most memorable word that I have from the beginning that I started learning Albanian is the word for capital city, which is the first moment that I thought this language is going to be so difficult to learn. So the word for capital city in Albanian is kryeqyteti, which for the life of me I could not remember nor spell for the longest time, but now I also think that I'll never forget it. I could really think of a book with capital in the title, but the word capital does always remind me of the Hunger Games, so that's what we're going with here. It's been so long since I've read the Hunger Games, but it was such a favorite of mine and I've rewatched the movies so often. Nummer 10. Ju lutem dhe faleminderit. Please and thank you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you Rosica for tagging me, and thank you Jay for creating this fun tag. I am usually more of a quiet supporter and don't do too many tags, but I'll take this opportunity to give a shout out to some new creators I've been following recently. If you want to do the tag, feel free. If not, no pressure. Just thought it would be nice to introduce your channels to anyone watching this. So first I have the Wicked Witch of the Words, who does these really cute read with me videos. And secondly, Psychonaut Journaling, who does these really cute reading journal spreads, since many of you here probably also watch my journaling videos. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe for more bookish content, and have a nice day.